It's I pay the mortgage and then I buy some hair.
Okay, so, not that you're really interested, but let me tell you about the phone call from
No,
her.
wait, why? Here, were you kidding?
First of all, she is in the Correctional Treatment Center. This is not the jail that she was in. It is a treatment center. This is her 9th day, 14 days until her release, and June 25th is her release date. All right, I was talking to her mother. Kathy Hilton had called me yesterday at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern Time, and we are friendly, and she'd called and told me how she thought Paris was, although she had not seen her. And then while I was talking to her, the telephone rang, and Kathy said, it's Paris on the phone. And she said to Paris, I'm talking to Barbara, and Paris said, I would like to talk to her myself. Well, okay. So she then called me, and she called collect. Not that she was cheap, but if you're in jail, and I'm used to this, you have to call collect. You just can't make...
You accepted the charges?
No, I said, I don't know. How much is it going to cost? Yes, of course I can. All right, so now let me read to you what it was, what our conversation was. She sounded, first of all, tired, but totally aware of what she was saying. She was calling, she said, because I was a friend of the family and because I have interviewed her in the past, as indeed we have. So, how are you? I asked her, and she said, I'm hanging in there, but I feel as if I'm a different person. I've dropped my appeal. I do not want to cause any more problems. She was not talking about her personal appeal. She was talking about her appeal.
She still has her personal appeal.
I asked what happened in the jail that led to her being released or reassigned to her home. She said she was not wailing, sobbing, or screaming, as had been described, but she said, I was not eating or sleeping. I was severely depressed. I felt as if I was in a cage. I was not myself. It was a horrible experience. She also told me that she had not been on antidepressants. How are you different? I asked her, and she said, I'm not the same person I was. I know now that I can make a difference, that I have the power to do that. I want to do different things when I'm out of here. This part I thought particularly interesting. I used to act dumb. It was an act, and that act is no longer cute. It is not who I am, nor do I want to be that person for the young girls who looked up to me. She said, I'm 26 years old now, and it is a different time. She said, I have become much more spiritual. God has given me this new chance. I asked what kind of things she might want to...
Well, I think that's great.
Prisoners find God.
They will find God in prison. That's where God is.
God is there.
Yeah, okay, let me go on. I asked what kind of things she might want to do when she gets out, and she said she would like to help perhaps in the field of breast cancer. Her grandmother had breast cancer, or multiple sclerosis. Her father's mother suffered from that disease. And she said she thought that she might get toy companies to build a kind of Paris Hilton playhouse for children, where sick children might come, and the toy companies could
like
donate.
Pee-wee Herman's Playhouse.
No, like Kathy Gifford has a thing with the McDonald House, which they take care of children with cancer, right?
She thought that given her name and her power, I mean, what she was talking about is that she feels she has a power that now she can use for very different things. She has what she described to me as a spiritual advisor who told her, quote, my spirit or soul did not like the way I was being seen, and that is why I was sent to jail. God, she said, has released me. She said she's reading...
The judge hasn't. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Barbara.
That the judge is in charge of her spirit or her soul.
No.
Okay?
Yeah.
She said she's reading newspapers, the LA Times and the Wall Street Journal, and books like The Secret, The Power of Now, and the Bible. She is in a room alone. When she is not in her room, she can play a little ping pong. She said the other women have all been friendly and the gods have been fair. She talked about the hundreds and hundreds of letters that she got from fans, what they meant to her. She said she has read them all, and some of them have made her cry. She wears the prescribed prison garb, the orange or brown jumpsuit. She's not allowed to wear makeup. She also said, I said, you know, what is it like? She said, well, my face is very dry. There's no cream here. But she said, it doesn't matter. I am not that superficial girl. I haven't looked in a mirror since I got here. She said, I feel my purpose in life is to be where I am. However, usually with a situation like mine, the person serves 10% of that time. I have already served 30% of my time, and I hope that if there is overcrowding in jail, I would be let out before someone with a much more serious crime. She did not complain when she was talking to me, and she did not whine. Her mother had told me that Paris said to her, "I will never again have a drink and drive."
Well, she doesn't have a license. She doesn't have a license anymore.
For a while.
That was what happened.
It may happen in the future. Look, I am not her publicist. I'm not her defender.
You're just reading what she said.
I'm just reading what she said. If indeed she has changed when she says, you know, it was an act, I'm 26 years old, and that act isn't cute anymore, that's a very important thing, I think, to realize and to accept.
It's great to see, you know, obviously, like sometimes, unfortunately, it takes a situation like this to kind of change someone or make them see a different way of living. I kind of went, I have to admit, at first I was very anti-Paris. Like, I had this sort of venom inside about her situation. I thought she did a dangerous thing in the first place, driving under the influence, and too many die because of that. But then I felt when she was set free and then, you know, reassigned to her home, and then they brought her back, I actually felt... I felt a lot of compassion for her, because I feel as though Sheriff McLethamout, whatever his name is, did a real disservice.
Lee Baca is the sheriff.
Yes. And
she said that she thought that Lee Baca had done the right thing, of course.
By letting her out and then putting her back in. I mean...
Well, he didn't put her back in. He let her out. The judge put her back in.
I wonder if these realizations came to her when she went in the second time, or if she was already on the path to this spiritual awakening and this whole thing.
I mean, supposedly those days were very difficult.
I'm sure this was a catalyst.
Teflon Don up until now. Nothing stuck to her.
You know the remark when she said, "That's not fair, Mom"?
Yeah.
Well, according to her mother, the reason that it happened was that the first time she was sent in, she was able to give them a hug goodbye. This time, when she started to, the officials would not let her. And that's when she said, according to her mother, "That's not fair, Mom."
Because everyone assumed that she was referring to the sentencing itself.
No, her mother said what she was saying was, "That's not fair that I can't hug her."
Very interesting.
Well, I hope she thinks now that all those photo ops were worth it, because this is the flip side of celebrity that nobody wants. Everybody's so happy to pose with their little dog, but then when they're in jail, it's a whole other story.
Well, does the sheriff still... Because the sheriff, I mean, although he denies having his hand in the pocket of many celebrities, he took, you know, donations.
I don't think you can say he has his hands in the pocket of many celebrities.
When he had his campaign, many celebrities donated to that.
Celebrities donate to everything, do they not? I mean, to
including her grandfather, I think, was noted allegedly donating $1,000 to his campaign. So I just wonder, A, if that's true, and B, if that had anything to do with her release. It was something that raised my
eyebrow. From what I know, is a very honest man, and I can't imagine that a donation from a celebrity years ago or from a grandfather, from other people, would have influenced this decision. This is a very controversial decision, and he has had to stand up for it. So I have talked to the sheriff in the past, although you know, I can't say I have a relationship with the sheriff, but I would be... I would hope
it's not true.
I'm not dating the sheriff, you know. But I will say, you know, what we have... It's a thought, although he has a very nice wife. I just have to make all of this clear. I think we will see if she has changed when she gets out. The fact that she says, "I'm 26 years old," and that it's not cute anymore. And if indeed this is made...
She say, though,
she could say many things. She doesn't have to say it was an act. She could say nothing.
She's reading. She sees the response the audience is giving.
What we have to see is when she gets out, she says, "I have power." Is this power going to make a difference? If it doesn't, and she's back doing the same thing, well, if it does, then it's changed her, and maybe it was a good thing that she was in. I don't think
I haven't seen a car chase like that since